Namaste, everyone. Namaste to all our participants and our esteemed resource person for this FDP on theatre skills, an applied tool for educators and professional, which is commencing today, 15th of September, till the 20th of September 2025. I, Dr. Nidhi Shandurnikar, on behalf of Team NLD, Nucleus of Learning and Development, heartily welcome all of you to this very interesting 6-day journey on theatre skills that Zela Madam is going to take us through, where we are going to learn about how theatre can be an applied tool for both educators and professionals. Team NLD has organized this FDP in collaboration with Babbar Akali Memorial Khalsa College, Garshankar, Punjab. The college's IQAC cell and Department of English are steering this FDP. It is my great pleasure to express gratitude to the team at Babbar Akali Memorial Khalsa College, Punjab, for collaborating with NLD for this 6-day FDP. The organizing team from the college, convener of this FDP, Dr. Amandeep Hira, principal of the college, and coordinator, Dr. Kuldeep Kaur. I welcome both of you to this FDP, and I sincerely hope that this will be a mutually fruitful learning journey for all of us here. Amandeep ji, Amandeep ma'am, if you are there, yes, I can see you. I invite you to deliver the welcome address for this FTP. Most welcome. Namaste, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am Nidhi. Uh, I welcome you all in this online National Faculty Development Program on the theatre skill and applied tool for educators and professionals. I take this opportunity to extend my warm greetings to our esteemed source person, Miss Zilam Tambe, who is freelance storyteller and visiting faculty at Faculty Journalism and Mass Communication, MRID, Gujarat, also Faculty of Science at Faculty of Family and Community Sciences, the Maharaja Siddhajaraya University of Vadodara, Gujarat. Theatre has always been more than a form of art. It is a medium of expression, reflection, and transformation. It connects intellect with emotion, tradition with modernity, and above all, education with creativity. This session will focus on how theater can blend professional. The main focus will be on developing good communication skill, effective use of the voice for public speaking, importance of facial expressions, improve imaginative and visualization skill extra. This FTP will focus on Bharat Muni's Natyashashtra to explain the various theories and rasas. I also welcome Team NLD, especially Professor Raj being instrument whose constant sport is highly valued. I welcome all participants who have joined across the nation. I am confident that this FD will not only deepen your understanding of theatre as an form of art, but also inspire you to bring its creative energy into your teaching and research. Our Institute's Department of English and Team IQSE also deserve appreciation for conducting this FDP, especially this FDP is, I think, wonderful and meaningful for the participants. Once again, I welcome you all and have a nice time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amandeep ma'am, for
Welcome,
that.
ma'am. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that warm welcome address. And I'm sure the participants are delighted to know about your college and the efforts that the college is taking in implementation of the new education policy 2020, as part of which skill building is becoming very crucial for both students and teachers. And theater not only opens our eyes and ears to skills, but I truly believe that theater opens our life, our eyes, ears, our cognitive abilities to a worldview that we may not have been exposed to before. So, theater is something that is extremely interesting, enjoyable, but also demands a lot of hard work. And in this FDP, Zela Madam is going to take us through many different aspects of how theater skills can be made applicable for educators as well as professionals. I am certain that all of you who have joined this FDP have gone through the topics that she will be covering over the next 6 days. So we will be starting today and ending on 20th of September. I request all participants to kindly use the chat box actively for comments, discussions, questions, etc. Please be on mute during the session when Zela ma'am is making her presentation. There will not be an individual day-wise feedback link that we will be sharing. The feedback link will be shared cumulatively on the last day of the FDP. So I hope that we are all on the same page with these ground rules. With this brief about the FDP, I would now like to offer a very quick introduction of our esteemed resource person, Zelam Tushar Tambe. Welcome once again, Zela Madam. It is our pleasure, delight, and honor to have you once again on NLD's prestigious platform, along with our collaborating college. So Zelam ma'am has a very vast and rich contribution in the field of storytelling, writing. She has essayed different roles. So she is a storyteller, a published author, a screenwriter, a playwright. But because of the paucity of time, I will introduce her very briefly, and I am sure that all of us will get to know more and more about her work in the course of the FDP. Before this, Salem ma'am has facilitated two very interesting FDPs on NLD's platform. That is one on creative writing and second on visual storytelling. So Salem has about 11 stories published to her credit in the form of various anthologies across various publications at the pan-India level, and most of her work can be found on Amazon and Flipkart. She is also a compiler. She does story writing workshops. She has collaborated with publishing houses, and she also grooms and trains young students in storytelling and story writing. She runs her own story blog, Kabhi Kabar, which is a collection of short stories since 2017. She also runs an audio podcast since the year 2020. She is also an accomplished academic. She essays different roles as a faculty member in esteemed educational institutions at Vadodara, Gujarat, most prominently at the Faculty of Journalism and Communication, the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda, where she's teaching creative writing and visual storytelling to UG students. She's also a faculty at MRID, Maharaja Ranjit Singh Institute of Design, Faculty of Fine Arts, MSU Baroda, where she teaches script writing, advanced script writing, and storyboarding. She's been a resource person for several storytelling workshops. She's also associated with Department of Extension and Communication, the Faculty of Family and Community Sciences. And all of this work that she's doing as an academic is well integrated with the NEP 2020 guidelines. She's an expert at storytelling, visual art presentation, and she does trainings for educators, corporate professionals, students, and young children. She has worked as a freelance content writer. She has experience in working with autobiographical books. She has mentored and groomed school children for theater stage presentations. She is very accomplished and prolific and experienced in theater writing, theater presentation. She's also an actor. She has also done script documentation and several workshops. In Baroda, which is where we are based, she is associated with a forum where she leads discussions on films. She is prolific and has good skills in multiple languages: Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, and she also takes up corporate assignments off and on. She has several professional certificates to her credit, and she is associated with esteemed institutions like the Film Society of Baroda, the Baroda Film Festival, Triveni Theatre Group Baroda, and Aniradhichita Baroda. Her education has also been wide and diverse. She has experience in PGDBA HRM. So she's had training, professional and educational training in HR management. She has a Master's of Commerce from MSU Baroda and also a Bachelor's of Commerce from MSU Baroda. So with this introduction, I once again welcome Zelam Tambe Madam to this 6-day learning journey, which we are going to venture on together. I'm sure all of you participants are going to have a wonderful time learning about theater skills and their application in education and life. And Zelam has planned a set of interesting activities for all of us through these 6 days. So I urge all participants to not miss even one single session. Be attentive and be active and participating throughout the session. Welcome, Zelam, and over to you from here. And I'm going to moderate the chat and other engagements for you through this FTP.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Nidhi ma'am, thank you so much for the such a warm introduction, such a beautiful introduction. And I feel like that you keep on talking. I have to like it's so soothing to the ears. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our convener, ma'am, Dr. Amandeep Veera. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your warm wishes. I'm sure and I guarantee you that the FDP would be something that is a beautiful takeaway for all of you, each participant who are present here, who have enrolled for this FDP, and there is something to learn from each session. I would also like to extend my thank you to Dr. Kuldeep Kaur. And last but not least, I would like to thank you to the NLD team for having me here for this platform, choosing me for this platform. Now, I just wanted to share with you all that since the FDP is about the skills, the theater skills, and it also is one of the important parts and aspects related to our academics. So I think the moment we enter the class, we say to our children, like our students, that I want an interactive session to be there. So I would expect the same from all of you. In the capacity of participants and a resource person, I would love when you share your comments and suggestions. When you have to, suggest something or you want to comment upon something while the topic is on, the chat box will be there. I want you all to flood it with all your comments, and that would be a really nice thing to see. So let me just take you on the tour of theater skills. for educators and professionals. I'm just going to share the screen now. Nidhi ma'am, do let me know if you see the screen, if the screen is visible.
Yes, yes, it is absolutely visible. I hope it is visible to all the other participants. You can please use the emojis and emoticons and reactions to show that all of us are together through the session. Yes, great, Salem.
Okay. So as we see, the title is Applied Tool for Educators and Professionals. So I would love to tell here that when you talk about uh, theater as an application, so see, what happens is we all know that we all are full of emotions. People, they love to socialize. People, they love to engage themselves. People, they love sharing. So when we share, something happens between the two people, and that is, through the voice, through the narrative, or through the dialogues, or say through the actions, say through the eye contact. So all these things together forms a very important aspect about theater. And theater is, to be honest, it's not just acting. See, acting we all do in our day-to-day lives because we all know how the emotion are to be emoted, or how do we, we are so much learned about how to emote the emotions since our childhoods. So, but then when it comes to theater acting, so there are a lot of skills that are very important as a practitioner of theater, and as an academician, if you want to bring the theater skills into play, then it becomes very important if you just highlight on what are those skills and how would that skills be sharpened when you go deep dive, when you deep dive into the understanding of how to analyze the theory of narrative. How do we proceed with understanding the narrative by giving it a meaning in form of interpretation? How do we analyze different concepts? So what happened, this reminds me of one of my teachers who used to be my English teacher, and she used to explain she used to explain the difficult concepts or the difficult theories in a way which was very easy for us to adapt and absorb as listeners. So, so these are the skills that makes the concept very easy. You break down the concepts in form of, say, for example, expression. Now, expression can be a voice expression also when we modulate our voices. And when we make the pattern of the concept in form of in form of rhythm or sound, then for example, I would like to give here an example of my Hindi teacher who used to, once there was some poem, and I just forgot which standard that was, but then there was a poem that described about a horse. So the teacher used to come and teacher used to narrate that entire scene of horse with a rhythm of sound that is tablak 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 tablak, and then she used to emote how it does the horse used to run, used to among because the horse was the central character there. So the thing is, she made it so lively for us, and we never imagined that the concept which are very, the text that is very dry can be emoted in such a way. It was very new for us, and we were very small. So this is the logic that is applied. This is the magic of theater when it is brought to the forefront in form of expressing the narrative through the emotions, through the voice, through the body language. So yes, on that note, let me take you to the thing that we are headed towards. That is, we're talking about theater skills. Theater is also one of the important, prominent performing art. There are different art forms, but theater is something that has, something that is related to the sound, to the costume, to the makeup, to the delivery of words, the language, the speech, your voice throw, your body language, your eye contact, etc., etc. So this all together gives it, gives a sense of an immersive experience for the audience. See, sometimes what happens is when we, I'm giving you an example of a film. So a film is also a stagecraft that is arrived from the theater basics, because it also has its roots in how to express. So when we talk about films, and then there are certain emotions that hit differently. So while we walk out of the movie, there are certain things that stays with us forever, and that is not the acting, but that are, those are the lines that was spoken. Say for example, the dialogues stay with us, the music stay with us, the way it was told or narrated, the monologues stay with us. So sometimes what happens, we forget the actor, but we always remember the way he pitched the thing, right? So these are the classic examples of how to make the narrative full of immersive experience for its audience. Let's move on to the next. Okay, so we were talking about, we all know that there are four Veds, and I will not call it as Veda, I will call it as Ved. So there are four Veds, that is the Rig Ved, Samved, Yajurved, and Atharva Ved. We talk about, when we talk about Rig Ved, we talk about it form in form of prayers, devotional things that we offer to the our gods, our deities. Then we talk, when we talk about Samved, we talk about the bhajans and music. So it is, there is a tonation given to the form of text, right? Um, when we talk about Yajurved, we are also adding a kriya to it. That is, we form it in form of a visual ritual, and then we present it. And then we talk about spirituality, that is in the Atharva Ved, that talks and connect us with our inner Shiva Tattva. And Shiva Tattva has a lot to do with expressions. Remember all the nine rasas. There is this nine ras. We all know it as nine emotions. So we connect to that while we are while we are seeing or connecting ourselves with any of the performing art. It straight away connects us with something that transforms our understanding about the thing that we are watching. It helps us to form a point of view, perspective. It sometimes changes the perspective as well, and sometimes it's so deepened that it transforms our way of thinking. And the entire process is very soothing. It is very reflecting, and these are the best things to happen to anybody who connects with the arts. So it starts with Ved, and then how it goes on to transform. See, so once we know about the Ved, then it was derived that from these four Veds came the fifth Ved. It is a few mixtures and few elements taken from all these four Veds to transform into the fifth Ved, which we know as Bharat Muni's Natyashashtra, which talks about three important ingredients, that is the Sutra, that is the text. Now, Sutra also has a lot to do with, the text, the scripting of something, scripting of the thoughts, scripting of different, say, experiences. So, Sutra, and if you know, there is this word called sutradhaar. If you have heard that word, you can put down in comment box if you have heard. So sutradhar is somebody who tries to tell something. He is a storyteller, he is a narrator. He tries to tell something through the words. That's the reason it is sutradhar. Okay, so the Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra talks about sutradhar, sutra, that is the text, and then it also talks about Vertika, that is narration, interpretation. Now, when I talk about narration, then what happens? There are different narratives, right? But when audience engagement comes into play, we need we need a narrator who comes and introduces us to different characters. He introduces us with certain situations. I'm sure you all must have seen and experienced those programs wherein there is a narrator and he or she comes. Even this happens in the musical nights and the musical shows that you all must have gone through. There are anchors. So the modern day sutradhars are our anchors who are the hosts and who host the event, and then they call the chief guest, or say for example this the performer or the artists who come and perform there. But before they arrive, there is a brief that is given to you. So that is nothing but there is a narration, right? And narration is something that has to do with giving a meaning to the audience. Because see, what happens is, if I simply introduce the artist and if I say that, okay, fine, this is the art, and do not say about anything that he is going to perform or she is going to perform, right? So it will kill the entire energy of whatever he is going to perform. Why? Because something unique that he or she is going to bring on the stage, and you need the audience to connect with it. So when when you talk about connecting with the audience, it is the sutradhar or the narrator who plays a very important role. We can say that वो एक कड़ी के तौर पे काम करते हैं to build in, to bridge the gap between the audience as well as the performer. So it is a very important relation here of a narrator that I'm talking about. So that came into play in the Bharat Muni's Natyashashtra, right? And then we talk about Bhasya, that is commentary, or the Samvaad, that is dialogue. Now, what happens sometimes if I see here, there's one the good example I would like to cite here, and that is a child who cannot talk, who does not know what language to speak. He is just a newborn, like an infant, right? Now, when when he tries to catch attention of his mother, what does he do? You can put down that in the comment box. What does the child do when he thinks that he wants the attention of his mother or father?
Yes, let's have some quick responses to this in the chat box. So I can think of, he makes some sound or noise, or he
Yes.
may do like this, babble. Okay, babble. Yes, correct, Preeti ji. Yes, let's have some quick responses and quick interaction so that we can cover as much as possible. They cry.
Yes, they cry.
Correct? They cry.
Absolutely,
Correct?
absolutely. They cry.
Yes. Anyone else? They cry, they babble, they probably stomp their feet.
Sometimes they also annoy us by their hand gestures, like they trying to call their parents through their tiny hands and legs. Yes, yes, exactly. Move their hands vigorously. Yes. So the thing is, this is a movement, right? And the child doesn't know how to speak. So how does it cater to the attention of his audience? That is that is the parents, right? The same role comes into play while when he is a little grown up. He understands how do I need to talk and communicate, because by then he has learned the art of communicating through words. Before, ऐसा नहीं है कि पहले उसको नहीं आता था. He used to communicate. So communicate is something that we all have, right? We don't need to, but we don't need to adapt to it. But then we adapt in a way when we start associating it with the words. So, Bhasya, commentary, and your Samvaad or your dialogues, they play very important role, just because whenever a script is written, to make the audience understand, these commentary or Samvaad or dialogue play very important role, because people associate themselves with the words. People also associate themselves with the tonation of the dialogues that is spoken. People associate, some सबसे ज़्यादा important is people associate the sound of the words. People associate with the emotion attached with that word. Say for example, if I If I'm very saddened, my voice will fall, my breathing will be very dim, I will be very low on energy. And at the same time, if I appear this, like whatever I have explained right now, if I appear in front of my mom, she will say that kuch to hua hai, why you are sad, right? So just because even if I'm not in front of her, I am on phone and aise karungi, so she will understand that something is wrong with your mood today. So what happens is that this is one of the important ingredients to connect with the audience. So Bhasya is very important because it gives the effect of association of emotions with the words, and that goes on to show what is how the words are expressed in and how the emotion is being felt by the audience who are watching the scenario that is happening in front of them. Okay, say for example, if there is a drama and you all go and there is a scene where there is this Krishna ki Chetavni. So if you know, this is a very nice poetry by Dinkar ji, and that is known as Krishna ki Chetavni. So when there is this poetic element that is um, बांध मुझे दुर्योधन बांध मुझे अगर तुम बांध सको तो. So that is like वो एक ललकार है. He is trying to instigate and provoke Duryodhan, telling him that if I am the god, I am the lord of the universe, and you have bought chains to the to let me stuck in this and then to bind me, but do you have the power to do so? Now, if I say this very simply in a very plain thing, then it will not connect with the audience. I mean, I want to bring the emotion of this lalkar, right? So what I will do is, क्या जंजीर बढ़ाकर जंजीर बढ़ाकर बांध मुझे, हाँ हाँ दुर्योधन बांध मुझे. So there is this, there is the anger on Duryodhan from Krishna's side. So this is relatable. See, words play a very important role when we attach them, associate with them with the sounds of emotions. Because we all, as an audience, we know what emotions are. Once we feel it through your voice, through your eyes, I mean, facial expressions, your eyes, and etc. So this makes it, this gives the validity, this validates the feeling of how the people are feeling. The very classic example is if say there is a very emotional scene that is there between a son and a mother going on in front of you while you're watching a movie, and sometimes it is so emotional that we get tears in our eyes. Say for example, I wanted to cite here an example of Tare Zami Par, when Ishan thinks that his mother and his father, his entire family is not believing in him. So they have put him in. So they have cornered him. So this moment, if you remember that book that he prepares, in which he is the family, it gets separated from him while the book is being flipped, right? So this brings tears in our eyes while we watch it. Why? Because it is connecting us with the effect of how do we feel in that particular position. So there is this empathy that is created, and this is created, my dear friends, with the help of bhashya. That is your dialogues, that is your commentary, and also through the interpretation of what you want to suggest or tell when exactly that emotion is being hit, or when you feel that emotion. Okay, so let's move on. So when we talk about, so I would like to give you an example. We all know this famous shlok of Ganesh ji. Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Dev Sarva Karyeshu Sarvada. So I bow down to the Lord Ganesha, who has a Vakratund, like unki soon Vakra hai, he has Mahakaya. So we know the meaning, right? But understand, this is a shlok, which is a stuti, right? So it is mentioned in Rig Veda, it's a stuti. Now what happens is, if I want to convert it to understand the meaning of it, I want to make it very easily so that I can learn it by heart, learn it. So I then associate it with music. I put up in some raga, and I form it in a musical way. I present it in a musical way. So that gives it an understanding of Samved included into that particular text. When we actually do yagyas and we have this kind of ritual in implementing that particular slow, when we are on the verge of making a new beginning, we always bow down to Lord Ganesha before we have any project or introduce or anything. Any new beginning is associated with Lord Ganesha, right? So what happens now at the back of our mind, if anything is going to be introduced for the first time or new in particular in our journey, then we have this ritual of following and associating with Lord Ganesha, right? So this has become ultimately a part of understanding that how a Rigved Stuti has now being pursued as a ritual in form of a shlok, that is in form of a ceremony that has that will give us the empowerment of beginning a new thing in a very new way with the blessing of Lord Ganesha. And then when we talk about Atharva Ved, that is we derive the reflection from the shlok. That sometimes what happens is there are different shloks that are being told by being recited by all the Brahmins, and then they also certain people have this understanding of making the person understand the meaning of the shlok while they are reciting the shloks. So what happens is this ultimately gives them the meaning and power to feel the shlok in certain way. What is the shlok doing to your conscious when you actually speak about that shlok? So this talks about Atharva Ved, which gives it interpretation, which gives it meaning, and then we own it. When we own it, and then we give it a meaning, and then we recite it, so that it becomes very fruitful, right? So we are connecting it with the sentiment and the understanding of its meaning. We channelize it. Okay, so then see what happens is now I would like to connect here. So from Rigved, we have the adaptation of the Sutra, that is text. Then we give the meaning to the text. We convert it into a ritual. That means we are delivering it in form of a dialogue or say presentation, or we voice it. Okay, and then what happens is we actually associate with it in form of a tattva, that is an element. Now tattva means to express the emotions, and to be very honest, how do we connect with this elements, that how do we connect with the tattva? So we connect with the tattva through a very particular shlok. Say for example, this is angekam bhuvanam yasya vachikam sarva vangmayam aharyam chandrataradi tam nama shatvikam shivam. So this is a ritual that is done before going on stage by all the dancers, because Lord Shiv is considered to be a cosmic dancer. So he is the Natraj. So we often bow down to Lord Natraj in giving us the energies through dance. And while we are dancing, we are expressing ourselves. So what happens while we express ourselves? We are directly connecting with the emotions of the audience. We make them feel about the emotions that we are expressing on the stage. So that is how we connect. So what are we doing indirectly? Now this is something that when they have tears in their eyes when we perform an emotional scene, when we are very jovial, when we are in romance and we have romantic scene, they feel good for us. What is this? This is nothing but we are breaking the fourth wall. And theater has a lot to do when it comes to breaking the fourth wall, because this is how you let the audience, I mean, you hold the hands of your audience and you let them inside your narrative through a sense, through a very invisible bond that is being developed between you and the audience, those who are watching you, right? So when I talk about Angikam, So Angika theater has a lot to do with this. This is the core and base of the Bharat Muni's Natyashashtra that talks about theater, how it connects. So these are the elements to which it connects. So first is Angikam. So Angikam has to do with, the body, the language, the body language, the body gestures, because it is the self, it is the body that is being presented in the physicality, so that the audience can see. Now, when we see, we connect, right? So what happens is we all are, we all go into the process what the person who is on the stage is doing, right? So we do it through our cognition, we do it through the sensory organs that we all have. We see the effect of a performer is being highlighted in us, it is being transformed to us, the energies are being transformed to us through angikam. So this is how whatever there he is expressing or she is expressing is being channelized to us as an audience in form of the body movements, the body language. We also feel the same thing, which is being to connect with the person who is emoting that particular emotion. Then we talk about vachikam. It means through speech we are connecting with the audience, through our voice, through our tonation, quality of sound, through the speech that we deliver, through the monologues that we talk. Again, the dialogues that we talked about in the previous slide, it comes into play here. Then we talk about aharyam, that is, ahar. That means here in this particular Natya Shastra, aharyam means not food, but aharyam means ornaments. The way we dress up, we get into the skin of the character. That means aharyam. Now, it is very important to understand one thing. See what happens if I want to play the role of Mahatma Gandhi. I can be Mahatma, but if I don't have the stick in my hand, if I don't have the chashma like Bapu used to wear, if I don't have a dhoti, then how am I going to look like Mahatma? Right? Understand these are the important things. It will be, see what happens is when we actually adapt the character, we should adapt it the way it is, right? So what happens? It gives the belief and trust to the audience that yes, this person is Mahatma. We all know that it is not Mahatma, but that person makes it very, very, concrete and believable through the presence. Now that is ornamentation. The clothes, I mean, the costume plays very important role in portraying one role of that particular character, right? So that person who is portraying the role of a character, he or she makes it believable, and when it when it is made believable, you start getting the audience response, right? Say for example, a comedy, there is a comedy, if there is a script which demands a comic timing, and then the actors they slide in, they bump into each other, and then both of them fall, like and then one of them tells that, oh, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. So everybody will laugh. Why? Because there is this is intended to happen, because they have created that particular comic timing at that particular note, and the cloths also will be something that has that goes with say very bright color, very flashy texture. All those things add up to the comic sense. Okay, so this is it. And then the ultimate end goal, that where we are heading towards, what do we want to achieve, is the Satvikam, is the Tattva where the character is no more the person he is before walking onto the stage. He is now actually the character, the role that he has been into. So what happens is there is this, like for example, if somebody plays a role of say Lata Mangeshkar ji, so the character, while before walking on the stage, that is a particular girl that is there, right? But the moment she comes on the stage and she starts taking the harmonium in front of her, then playing it as per the script flow that is written, already written. she is trying to make you believe, and in that process, one time, one time will come where she thinks that, and she feels actually, when she is really connected with that character, and she also forgets that she is her, and she thinks that I am Latadi only. So understand, this is the power of theater. This talks a lot about how we try to be in the character, and we are so much into alignment of that character that nobody can recognize us better. People know us through the character and not the actor that you are as a person. So yes, so the end result is to reach that Satvikam Tattva, that Shiva Tattva, that Avichal Tattva, which is very important. So now coming and comparing it with our classes, when we, as an academician, when we actually go into the concept, we should be referring the concept with so much thorough knowledge, and portraying all the details that will align us with the understanding of the concept in a way that people will not deviate from understanding what is the logic behind it. The students who are listening to us will be so much in tune with the understanding of the subject and the conceptual clarity, that there will be no line in between, that there will be no barriers in communication. Whatever you think or pursue that you want to convey the message, it will be conveyed to them exactly in the manner, if you are in tune or in alignment with the portrayal of the character that demands from you. Say, for example, if I want to, and then through that, if we form the groups, in delivering certain concept, we form the groups, and then we ask the students to be certain characters. Then it brings them the clarity about the subject, and also they are attuned with the way that character tries to bring the facts, and then they connect it through their voices and their their portrayals, their costumes, their makeup, their body movement, etc., etc., etc. So yes, this gives them the power of understanding. This creates a visualization, and it also has a backing. It has a backing of a true imagination that comes into play when you actually visualize it thoroughly. So yeah, if you break the concept in a way that makes it very important and to be absorbed by the audience. So the concept becomes more interesting, and you can relate to it. The trust factor, it rises. So now I would like to take you to the next slide that talks about theater connects us with. So theater mostly connects us with the body movements. That is, we talked about the gestures, the postures, the facial expressions, the eye contact. See, for example, there is you must all be aware about the Bharat Natyam. So in that there is a music in the background, and there is this the actors, they perform through their eyes and the hand mudras, right? So what is that? That also goes on to convey a meaning. So there are no dialogues here, but the eyes, they speak, right? So and if you have noticed the makeup of their eyes, it is very different. Say if it is a portrayal of Radha, then the eyes will be different. It is If it is a portrayal of Ravan, the eyes will be very prominently different, right? It will be big, and it will have the black makeup and all those things. And the voice, if you remember, we all must have watched the Ramayana, and there is this Ravan is known for his attahas. That is his way of ha ha ha. That authority. There is an authority and power when he when there is this maha attahas by him. So that goes on to show the he if he is a villain, then he does not have to always have a pistol or a हाथ में लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. His voice will make a difference when he is a villain. So understand, the more you show, it has to be through the less efforts, but through the more body language and with a lot of convincing power. That brings the clarity and engagement into the audience. And that comes with gestures, postures, facial expressions, eye contact, and then voice and speech. As we said, about tonation, about voice, about the pronunciation, about the dialogues, right? And then there is phonetics. So we have the sound involved in it. The sound of the sound that is associated with certain movements to give it a meaning. So that is it. And then there is the costume, that is, pehervesh, the ornaments, the to get into the skin of the character through the makeup, through the costume, through the ornaments, so that you look alike and there is no difference between you and the character role that you are playing. Then there is space coverage that theater attributes to. So it has the stage presence, the stage craft and aesthetics that come at play here. For this, I would like to show you there is one stagecraft which is known as mise en scène. It is we will when we will be doing the third day of the session. We'll be also talking about sorry, the fourth day we'll be talking about different techniques. In this, we will be talking about the stagecraft technique, which involves this coverage of stage very beautifully. The position that you are standing with the other character, how do we show the authority where both of them are standing? One is higher, one is lower, and the use of light and shadows into it, in showing the authority, in showing the power, etc. Then how does the timing, the pauses, the stillness, the silence, etc. plays very important role. And then all these things, they lead to beautiful exploration of expressions, and you connect to it through the trust that is developed by the character who is playing it. There is an instant connect because people try to relate it with you. So understand, the more simple, the more expressive, the more it will relate to the audience. And then people communicate through their gestures. Say for example, if there is a punch and there is a comical punch, then you are bound to get a clap there. Or if it is a very magnificent performance, at that time the people will cheer you up. So what is that? That is an instant gratification that you get from the audience in form of a feedback. And that goes on to show that the efforts that you are putting, you are in alignment with the audience. Your audience are very attentively listening to you, right? So that gives us that helps us to connect with emotions, and we let them deal with connecting with the emotions through how we make the audience feel in the very first place. That comes in form of a power of expression. And then what happens is we actually give them the understanding about a particular scene, or about the narrative, or about the text that we are talking about, through expression, through emotions, through different genres. So all these things has a definite meaning in their eyes. In a way, they understand or pursue a particular thought that you are going to sell, that you are selling them in form of the character that you are portraying. So that goes on to show the understanding of how the philosophy of that particular character who is there in front of the audience is trying to connect with the audience and trying to give them a faith in a way that conveys a meaning to them. So there is a reflection here. If I feel bad for something and I'm the character, I make you feel through my act, and then you also try to reflect upon your own feelings. You're transported to another level of world, and this is where you connect with your own senses, because you have started, I have hit that button of feel, and you start feeling about those emotions. You start connecting, revisiting those emotions, and that is how you actually connect with every actor on the stage. That begins a very good journey where you are being taken into the in the tour of how the things are being there. Say for example, there are 100 people walking and going for a movie, and each person would connect differently for every scene that is being played on the scene, on the in the film, on in the screen. So this goes on to show that we are highly sensitive towards feelings, And Natya Shastra has a lot to do when it communicates through feelings, through emotions. Because these days, unfortunately, it happens that we have forgotten how to feel, how to express the emotions. But understand, when we are on stage, it becomes very important for us to be very transparent towards our own self and transparent in delivering our performance, so that the audience also see us through, that and associate their own self with us. They relate to our performances, so that is that creates the magic, so with that, I want to take you all towards one activity. Say for example, we have our rich ancient Indian scriptures, and to be very honest, Mahabharata is one of my most favorite out of it. So we know the characters of Mahabharata, right? We know the tonation and speech that they have. We know the mood and plot, the story, emotions attached to that particular scene that they are delivering. We know the costume and the ornaments. We know the Samvaad, that is your dialogues that the character speech. We know the language in which it is going to speak. And we also know how the effect of music, the background sound, the lights, the shadows, etc. happens, and when that particular scene is being transformed or being presented to you as an audience. The final interpretation, that is a takeaway. Say for example, if I want to take up a scene from Mahabharat that has that Dronacharya and um Eklavya, that particular scene in which he asks for the thumb, and he says that you give me your thumb as a Guru Dakshina. Now, see if this is the scene that you want to narrate. Understand understand the emotion behind it. So from the point of view of Eklavya, it was a dedication, it was a devotion that okay, fine, indirectly I have learned from my guru, he is my guru, and I have learned from him. So it is very this thing, it is my duty to give him whatever he asked for. And then when we talk about from Dronacharya's point of view, so now he has a different perspective. He says that no, none of my students have been excelled, or say I don't want Arjun, I don't want a competition for Arjun, in the future. So he tries to manipulate, and he tries to ask something that will cut the competition from Arjun's way. So understand, these two are different point of views. Now, while delivering these point of views, the how must be the mood? What these characters must be feeling when they are actually in front, confronting with each other? What would be the story flow? What would be the emotion that they are connecting us with? How they are going to be dressed up? What would be the environment around? What would be the dialogues? What would be the ornaments, or the the makeup that they are going to put up? What language are they speaking? Because see, Dronacharya's language and Eklavya's language, they it might differ. We have been seeing B.R. Chopra's thing in which their dialogues are in Hindi. But understand, if it is a regional play and they are talking in their own languages. Say, for example, if we just assume that Eklavya is from a Bhil community, so he is talking in his language, and Dronacharya is talking in Sanskrit. So the Samvaad, wo kaisa hoga? Just imagine. And then there are different sounds. So the sound will be very peaceful in the beginning, but then the moment he tries to cut off his thumb, at that time the sound also will be very aggressive. So this is a transformation, and it then tries to make you understand of how the things of feelings, how you feel bad about Eklavya, how you feel that he is being cheated because of the sound. Sound also plays very important role here. So your final interpretation of this entire scene that is going on, that will give it a meaning. It will unfold a lot of meaning to you, and then you start having empathetic feeling for the characters that are there in the scene. and then you try to connect with the emotions through the meaning that you give to the particular scene, to the character of how he goes through different things in that particular moment of samvad that is happening. So this is the activity, and I would like you all, for example, this is an example, but you can take a screenshot, and then you can imagine that if it is going to be a play or something like a conversation between two characters. Take any scene from the Mahabharata, any of our Indian scriptures, any of the Puranic tales or the stories that we have, and then try to visualize the scene on the basis of these criterions of how the character will actually be, and then you see the magic happening. So I don't want you to have an influence of how they have shown in B.R. Chopra or the Siddharth Kumar Tiwari's Mahabharata, or Ramanand Sagar's Ramayan. But then thing is, if you have your own version of thinking, then through your eyes, how do you see these characters, of how they will be presenting themselves in front of the audience? With that, I think it's a thank you. Thank you for being so patient with me. And I'm now going to visit the chat box so that I see how beautifully you all have commented and responded to whatever I have shared so far. Thank you so much. All to you, Nidhi ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Zelam. I think it was a wonderful introduction to the different aspects of theatre, especially in context of Bharat Muni's Natyashashtra, and that somehow tells us what a rich legacy of theatre we have had in Indic context. And this is what we can bring to our classroom in the form of NEP 2020. And a lot of the elements of theatre that you spoke about can definitely be utilized in the classroom, even though teachers or academics may not have formal training in theatre. So let's open it up for questions immediately. Zelam, you can check the comments in the chat box. There is appreciation for the session, wonderful session, informative, fruitful, enlightening. Any questions that anybody wants to ask, we can spend about 5 to 10 minutes taking questions. You can either unmute yourself or you can put those questions in the chat box. It would be great to have questions from all of you. Yes, anybody? I think Deepak ji had made some interesting observations in the chat box.
Yeah, Deepak ji, thank you so much for connecting. I was wondering whether you will join on that in the other session you were there, and you were a part of the theatre community. So it's good to see you. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Deepak ji. Yes, I'm still waiting for questions, but just wanted to break the ice and understand from all of you how many of you have some experience of theatre, some formal training, or if not, how many of you are interested in theatre, or you think that theatre has the potential of skills that can be directly used in the classroom and in the professional space. You can just raise your hand. Okay, Sindhu ji, you have a question. Go ahead. Sindhu Bhairavi ji, you have raised your hand. Okay, maybe that was in response to my question. So, maybe you have some training in theatre. Okay, I have experience as a professional dancer. That's wonderful. Thank you, Sindhu ji, for sharing. So, until we wait for questions, I think even if some of us as teachers may not have formal training in theatre, but if we understand its concepts and elements, as Zelam rightly explained through the session, we can effectively use them in the classroom. Okay, so Zelam, there is a question by Priyanka Mehra ji. How should we teach one-act plays in the classroom? You mean mono act?
So So these are very short and crisp things, one act plays. And when we talk about then you must bring in the concept. You must have a 360 approach towards it. Like, say, for example, if it is a concept about management, then you form groups and then you start initiate the conversation. You have you give different roles to different characters in form of your students, and then you actually bring in the core theme, and the context should be the topic or the concept that you want to address. And then how do you portray that? That can be in form of, what we can do is, some of the people will be bringing in the barriers, some of them will be telling about the advantages, but all this should be dramatically done, right? So different characters turning up at different point of time in the story, in the play, and then they bring up their own knowing about the things, wherein you try to enlighten them as the main narrator, or say the person who is in charge of the entire concept. He tries to bring the clarity about the subject or the concept, and that is how it brings meaning to the concept is made meaningful through the experiment that is happening in front of you as a teacher and the rest of the students, so that they also understand that how it is practically being performed in front of the entire class, and they actually get the entire understanding of the concept, and they have proper clarity about it. So if you don't want to make it more like ekankika or something like that, then you one actor, usually there is a monologue. So monologue, or say for example there is just one character who walks in. So you can have a dialogue between two characters, two friends who are sitting and they are discussing. Simple. So make it more conversation oriented, so that people try to understand it from that point of view as well, rather than only texting, or let them present it in form of a PPT. If they are emoting that, voicing it through their body language and eyes, and expressions, etc., that will be very adding value to it.
Yes, that's wonderful response, Zalem. Thank you for that elaborate response. And I think role plays could also be very crucial over here. If you ask your students, Priyanka ji, that, okay, I'm giving you 5 minutes, 10 minutes, think of yourself in a situation. For example, think of yourself in a traffic jam, or think of yourself in yourself being stuck in flood situation, and then enact it, okay, using the space, uh, words, or using some prompts, or just acting it out for a minute. So I think giving them some real life or imaginary situations in which they can perform, and not just perform, they can also think, because see, it's very important to note that theater is a thinking exercise, and Zalem would agree with me, right?
Yes.
Okay, we'll take one last question before we close today's session.
I think Mamta ma'am has asked us about, is it good to make students read the text of the play? Yeah,
Yes, I
it
think
is.
before that, Salem, she's also made a comment which I would like to read. She's saying use of theater like in classroom teaching is great. I think that's what she means. But teaching a work from a theatrical dimension can be a great challenge. Agree. And then there's a question that she's asked.
Uh, Teaching work from a, yeah, because that depends on the subject and the concept that you are addressing in the class. So if it is very easier concept to break it in form of a reality, in form of a play, or a role play, or say a dramatic presentation, then it becomes easy. But then if it is very complex as a subject in itself, then what you do is you bring the core narrative, you break the narrative and bring it to the, try to justify it through the important aspects related to it, if not the entire theory that you want to address. Say for example, if it is mathematics, so it becomes very difficult to make people understand. But then we have I think the ma'am knows it that mathematics can be also dealt with in form of poetic expression. So yes, so that is one of the understandings that we can give it to the to our students. The only we should not demolish the meaning from the concept that we are trying to. I mean, the meaning, the very meaning should be intact. It should not be destroyed. Number one. Number two, if you want to convert it, then make the languages very simpler to understand by giving illustrations. So that will give them a reference point to connect with. That will make it easier. Yeah, Nidhi ma'am, do you want to add something to this?
No, I think this is a topic that we can extend for discussion during tomorrow's session, because today we have just had a very basic introduction to the elements of theater, to the historical context of theater, and how these could possibly be explored in our own workspaces, both for educators and for professionals. So, yes, Mamtaji, I kind of agree when you say that not all works can be taught from a theatrical dimension. But what we could do is utilize some elements like speech, expression, stage presence, intonation, and etc. There is a pedagogy of theater also, right? I think, Zalem, there is some disturbance from your side. So can you mute?
Yeah, I just a minute.
Sorry. So, there is an entire pedagogy of theater and how it can be taught, and how the elements that are present in any theatrical performance can also be utilized in the classroom. So, I think we need to just first get into the flow of what we are covering in this FDP, and then probably a lot of the questions that you're raising will be answered. So, Mamtaji, I think there will be additional responses to your question in subsequent sessions that Zalem is going to take. Today was just the basic introduction session. Zalem, Neelamji is asking how to start teaching creative writing to beginners in the classroom. I think for that you will have to attend Zalem's FDP on creative writing. We hope to bring it for everyone before everyone soon. For tough subjects, Tableau can help. Yes, I think lots of things can help. There are lots of props and tools and demonstrations, and visual aid can also help in that sense. So I suggest that we close for today with all the basics that Zalem has introduced us with, especially the 4 Vedas, Angikam, Vachikam, Satvikam, the third one I'm forgetting. And yeah, you can unmute, Zalem. I'm sorry, there was some disturbance.
Aharyam.
Aharyam, absolutely. So these concepts that are very much present in our Indian knowledge system, ancient Indic systems, and how those can be capitalized. And I think primarily when we go to the classroom and when we teach, we also put in a performance. We also put in a show. And how we can utilize it to make classroom engagement more effective and impactful, that is what we are looking at here. So with this, let us stop for today. And because it's already 9:15 and some of our participants may have left because it's dinner time, so we'll regroup tomorrow for the second session. So what are we going to discuss tomorrow, Zalem?
So tomorrow I'll be giving you the examples on the Abhinay, the music, dance movements, and visual expressions, basically. How visual expressions are important, lined up through the metaphors that we use, so that they serve as a referral point in building up the narrative.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Wonderful. I'm sure it's going to be an extension of what we have discussed with more additions and insights. So I request everyone to kindly join us tomorrow again at 8 p.m. and we regroup tomorrow. So thank you so much and see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Nidhi.